You know, I realize, I've got like a podcast sitting down pose. I've got 2 actually. You know that as well, innit? So this is my first one. Actually, I've got 3. This is my first one.
Yeah.
This is like probably thinking pose. Then the next one is listening pose. Is this one? I go like this. Huh? No, I go like this. And then the other one, it's like when I'm like kind of like midway through, I'm like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like full, you got me. I'm here. I'm listening.
Yeah. Now, but it's lit.
You have this one here. This one here. High. I mean,
Oh,
your head is cut. Your head gets cut off. There's like a proper high one. Where
Well,
I told about that one, bro. We got to see his face.
You know what it is? That one doesn't happen too often, anyways. But yeah.
Enough time to bother me, bro.
Yeah, your headset's there just in case you need it. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming, man.
Pleasure.
Much gratitude. Much pleasure. You know what? So obviously you got a book there. I was gonna ask you, why do you read? It's a bit. I know it's a bit random.
Yeah. I think from a young age, from like childhood, I would read books. My mum would read books to me to go to sleep. And I've kind of had this connection to books and stories in general. Like, you know, that classic structure of like a story beginning and then having happy ever after, which is, you know, not the case always in life, but I've always liked that structure of living in stories because I want there to be a happy ending. And I believe at the end of the day, there will be a happy ending. You know, you have to always believe, have that hope. And then I went for a period where I would read no books, I'll just play games, which I feel like is another form of storytelling because I'll play like Call of Duty, for example, and I didn't really care about multiplayer. I cared about the campaign. I only cared about the campaign, which is the story. Yeah. You know, going and playing the character and being in the story and then literally being immersed in the story. So I was always like attracted to the story aspects of anything. So I was more into games and the stories of the games. And that's why these latest Call of Duty games, I don't play them because they don't have campaign. That's literally what I really care about. So reading for me is been about immersing myself in the story. And I guess nowadays, like with books like this, I think it's about just broadening my horizons and just expanding my knowledge in things I don't really understand. Like, for example, this book's called The Body Keeps the Score. And it's basically like following like inherited trauma. And it's something that I felt it myself and I've done research about it. And I was like, oh, there's a book about this, so it exists. So this is quite a popular book that a lot of people would vouch for this book, and it kind of explores inherited trauma.
Would you say? So I'm not saying that's the case for you in general, but that's something that I was thinking about just now when you said it. Would you say that sometimes we find what we're looking for as well? So for instance, like you said, like you kind of felt it for a while, but then because you felt it, basically found what you was looking for. Yeah. So rather than this kind of book finding you, you found a book instead. Yeah, I feel like that. It's finding. I feel like it's like a match. You're looking for something, and then there's something out there, you know. So that book was there, and I was yearning for that book, and then there was a match. It's like a 50-50 thing that we found it. Yeah. But yeah, no. Just going back to the storytelling as well. Yeah. I think you're right. I think there's storytelling almost everywhere. I think sometimes looking at thing. Yeah. Like for example, like how a chair was created. There's probably a story behind that. Yeah. So there's story there, but you might not know what the story is. So everyone's got a story. Everyone's got a story. Yeah. That's what I find fascinating, and that's what I'm grateful for. So a while back I had this like kind of moment. So I was just walking down the street and I really like tuned in into what's happening around me. Yeah. And I was like looking at different people just like walking by, and I was thinking like every single person has got a universe, their own kind of like world. They're the main character. Yeah, and they're the main character. Yeah. And I'm just like, I was just so fascinated. But I think what I was really grateful for is that, for the fact that I can interact with them. Yeah. Just that interaction in itself, I was like, I was full of gratitude because it's a beautiful thing. And it's that thing of like, if someone had all the money tomorrow, all the money in the world, and there's not a single person that, you know, that's in existence, like, what you know, you need people, like people need people. Yeah. Yeah. Who said that before, by the way? People need people. Yeah. But we've done so many episodes at this point. Yeah, that was because I remember. I think that was one of the rules on Insta. Yeah, we've done so many episodes. Man. What about that idea of like
everyone's kind of a projection of your universe. So like, no one's real. Sometimes I would just walk around and I'm like, is everyone actually real? Kind of thing. No, it's part of my universe.
I love that thing of everyone's got a version of yourself in their minds. Like there is no such thing as there's like 7.8 billion versions of yourself, and that's not that much because you haven't met everyone in the world. Well,
it's only when they're aware of your existence, right?
Yeah. So there's a different version of yourself in everyone's mind.
Yeah.
And no two versions of you is the same, right? So and do you ever have this thing where whenever you meet someone new, like I see it as an opportunity to create a new version of myself. Yeah. So this new person I've met, let's say you find a new job, for example. Yeah. Everyone in that workplace will now know me as this individual. Exactly. Yeah. Whereas someone else can know, and that's an opportunity to recreate yourself.
Exactly, recreate. Yeah.
Do you know what's interesting though? Yeah. So actually, I was just thinking about this now, and I think it's true. Like everyone's got a different version of ourselves. Yeah. But at the same time, I see like what a version is actually a bridge. So the version in itself is the bridge. And I think what it is, what's really interesting is that both sides of the bridge get to build it. Yeah. So I get to potentially influence how someone else might see me, but also they still get to decide on how they see me. So there is that whole weird combination. Yeah. Yeah. It's strange.
Yeah, it's a powerful thing, man. But also I think going back to stories, the reason why I can identify with a certain character in the film is because I felt what he's feeling or she's feeling in that film. You know, because that's the power of storytelling. When you have a film and you're watching a character going through all these emotions, you're like, I do feel like I'm Brad Pitt in this moment. Yeah. I feel like because it's about empathy, and as humans we have that connection. And even if like you can take the most surreal or the most evil characters in history, like even Hitler, bro, like you could look at people like him and be like, there's certain bits, if you give him the same tools, you might end up like him. That narcissism, you know? Like he was a failed painter. He wanted to go to art school and he didn't get accepted. And one of the first things that he did was sack all the painters and destroy all their art.
Yes. So he was coming from like a really hurt place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And one interaction with him when he was a kid could have been different, right? Like.
Yeah. Did you hear about that interaction with David Blaine? When he was a young kid in the library. No. So he was in a library and he was just looking through books and his mum was just by the side reading.
I was gonna make a bad joke here. I was gonna say, did David Blaine make the books disappear? But
no. So basically, librarian came and I think it was a woman, and she came to him and she said, why don't you go over there to those bookshelves and read those books? And she pointed him to the magic books. And from a young age, I think it was at 6, 7, that's where it began. So it's the power of this redirection and people coming into your life and pointing you in direction. Imagine if he didn't get pointed towards that bookshelf, he wouldn't be David Blaine.
Yeah. That's interesting.
This is why I love the concept of the multiverse, man. The fact that it's like branched realities, isn't it? It's just one decision leading up to another one, and all it takes is one.
Exactly.
One
intervention.
Yeah, and even like you got the whole thing with the butterfly effect as well. Like a butterfly's wing flap can affect a a tidal wave on the other side of the world. These small things, like the ripple effects, it's so fascinating to me, man.
Because that means we should always be good. You know, we should always try to do our best to do good because, you know. But even also, I also feel like bad stuff happened to you ends up being good later down the line 100%. As well. Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like some stuff that's been horrific for me in the past, like some personal stuff, has actually turned out to be the best thing that's happened to me.
But it's not before you embrace it. Yeah. If you just let, because I've said this every single pod in the past month or so. There's no such thing as good or bad. It's just perspective, right?
Exactly.
So if something bad, and I said of quotation marks, if something bad happens to you, it isn't bad. It's just a thing that's happened. Yeah. You've now chosen the reaction. You've decided to label it as bad, which obviously the labeling part isn't the problem. Exactly. It helps us understand. So we labeled it as bad, and now we are expected to deal with it. Yeah. And then that's where we get the freedom of choice. Now, if you've chosen to embrace it and take the benefits from it, you will benefit inevitably. If you've chosen to see it as a negative, it will be a negative. As long as you perceive as negative, it'll be a bit negative.
Yeah, I was going to say, the only way an experience can have a good outcome is depending on how we process the experience, or depending on how I process the experience. And I think it's about learning the power of, we get to choose how we process.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, I think that's a really important ability.
That's the trouble. People, you either embrace it and you take it on, or you fall into pity, which a lot of people sadly do. They go in self-pity and they dig themselves deeper and deeper. But also there's like a saying in my religion, where the Prophet ﷺ says, look at the condition of the believer. When something good happens to him, he thanks God. When something bad happens to him, he thanks God. You know, meaning in each aspect, he knows, I'm not going to lose. I'm getting closer to God in every aspect, because I believe it's a plan from God. End of the day, it's like it's been written. You know. Yeah.
So I have this theory. Yeah. So I've had this theory a little while back. Is that, so I feel like majority of the people miss out on a lot of growth. So they miss out on experience to grow, right? Yeah. And it's going back to that things like, if I was to, let's say, split the experience into positive and bad, good and bad, most people avoid the bad experiences.
Yeah.
So, and I feel like people that don't avoid the bad experiences and they embrace both of them, I think they're the ones that get to grow the most, because you know, they're embracing all kinds of experiences. And people that avoid it, they're missing out on growth.
Would you need to, if given the choice, because assuming we're given the choice, would you need to enter that experience with a certain kind of mindset?
I think resilience is an important thing. Yeah. I think when it comes to that, I think resilience is definitely an important thing. You just have to be resilient and embrace it. And I guess that's something that can be built, right? It's not like, I'm not just sitting here and saying, resilience, but I think everyone can build resilience if they wanted to, right?
Yeah. But it's also for what you've gone through, you know, like the life experience you go through will inherently build your resilience, you know, make you a stronger man, you know, or woman.
That's like, do you remember like several years ago I used to say that whenever I experienced something bad, I used to call it resilience training. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Because like, I remember that time. Do you remember when
character building?
Yeah, that's it. Remember that time I got my bike stolen? Remember the bike? So I won this bike at my old workplace. I was like 17 at the time, something like that. And I locked it in the actual academy stuff, like around the back, like a hidden place. I locked it up because I used to go by bike. And one day I went there and I didn't find the bike, but what I did find is like a piece of the lock, like about 2 inches long of the lock on the floor. And I looked at that, I'm like, this is a very nice bike. It's about £200, give or take, something like that. It was a nice bike. But I took that piece, put it in my pocket, and I said one thing to myself: these people wanted the bike more than me. They deserve it.
Yeah, I remember that.
It belongs to them. To this day, I still have that piece, that little white. It's in my house. Furthermore, when I go home, I'm actually gonna go find it because it's actually there chilling. And I think that began my journey. That began my journey of resilience training and embracing the fact that that's when I realized I get to choose in it.
You chose that. You can have it.
Because it's like you out. Because the way I see it, like it was a big thing, but the way I saw it was this person actively, because it was a lock. It's not like a little. It wasn't like a twig. It was an actual lock. So you actually went out of your way to get bolt cars. Wait for a moment where there was no one about, because you're walking around with a bike, you get noticed, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wait for a moment where there was no one about. On top of that, you waited for me to be busy, and you cut the bolt, and you didn't check your mirrors because you left that little piece on the floor, but it's fine because you took the rest of the lock. You just left that one piece on the floor, and then you took the bike and left with it.
Imagine that effort. Imagine that.
You deserve it, mate. You worked for it.
You worked for it. You wanted it more than me.
The grind.
Congratulations. Congratulations for the bike.
That's basically what you just said. Oh, bad experience can turn into a good.
Yeah.
Look at me now.
Exactly.
Do you want to buy a bike?
I've got a bicycle, but I don't even use it.
Yeah. I had one from years ago.
No, actually, no. I think I know you did it as well.
Yeah.
I know. But it got to a point where, like, you know what?
But you know what's interesting? Like, what if they put that skill set into something productive rather than stealing a bike?
Yeah.
That would have been interesting. Just going back on the book thing, if you was to write a book, what would you write a book about? What would you call it?
Method.
Method.
I
I don't know if he was expecting this question or he's just a random
answer. He does like you think about something.
Yeah, because I felt it's like there's something coming.
Well, as an actor, I'm an actor, but also I'm a writer. So I write stories, so scripts, like that turns into films. But then you're talking about a novel. You're talking about like an actual book.
Yeah, I mean, there's all types of books, right? So I think for you, it'd probably be a novel because, like your story writer. So,
I would write something that's non-fiction, but I feel like with fiction, there's a power to really for everyone else to place themselves. And I feel like so that's why I would probably write a fiction book. I would write a fiction.
Is fiction really fiction? Or is it something that's...
It's a created reality, but there's truth within it. So, for example, Star Wars.
Yeah.
Luke Skywalker. Created by George Lucas.
Martin.
That's him.
Yeah.
Wow. He's Luke Skywalker.
You know, Star Wars was a reimagination of Dune.
Yeah.
That's
so with with this, with Dune, the original book, where the writer inspired that from Islamic literature.
Okay.
Islamic literature. He took from Islamic literature and theories and made that book. So, for example, Timothy Chalamet's character in Dune is called the Mahdi. Yeah, that's an Arabic character that we call the Mahdi. Is like he's the person that's going to come before Jesus comes back, basically. He's like the Mahdi, the savior that's going to come and reunite all the believers. And so this is stuff that's taken from Islamic literature. But yet, in the film, there's like no representation of any Islamic characters. Or clearly, I think there was a bits and bobs, but there's no like main characters.
But that's Hollywood, man.
It's just Hollywood, Hollywood.
What do you expect, man?
Taken from Islamic literature and not really... And then you could see that with Dune, that turned into Star Wars. But, hopefully...
Have you seen Dune?
Reflected in the future.
Have you seen Dune?
No, I haven't.
I haven't read the book. Watching it. It's a good movie.
I watched it in cinema. It was amazing.
Oh, the sound must have been mad. The sound design must have been
It
crazy.
was amazing. I love the film. And I love the film. That's the only criticism I have of it. Of like the original story is from Islamic literature, yet it's not really reflected in the story.
It's a good movie, man. A great cast list. What's the director's name again? I forgot his name.
Denis Villeneuve.
DVD.
Yeah.
But no, he's a really good
director. Yeah.
Definitely watch the movie because it's a 2-part movie in it. So second one's coming out soon.
Yeah, I'm probably not gonna watch it. I'm probably not. Let's be honest. Yeah, I'm probably not gonna watch it.
Do that cinema?
Yeah. Do you know what I do and I don't? I think so. So I have a love and hate relationship with people. So what that means is that I love people. Love is the most important thing for me anyway. So I love people anyways, regardless. But sometimes I just don't like going to places where there's a lot of people, or like, for example, like Stratford Westfield. I hate that place so much. Like, if I'm in there, I'm just trying to walk as fast as possible if I need to do something just to get out. So yeah, like I do like cinema, but I think in the last 6 months, like I've cancelled all my subscriptions and all these other things. I haven't watched anything. Like I don't really watch anything anymore. Yeah. And it's interesting because I don't feel like I'm missing out. But also what I realized about cinema and movies and stories and whatever, most of them are replicated. So what I mean by that is like, so when I'm watching it, I'm like, I've seen this happen in real life before. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, even that not predictable stuff is kind of predictable now. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And people remember, at the end of the day, people are only going to write about experiences they've had, right? Yeah. But I do like kind of like, I don't know, maybe it's just more about who I am as a person, but I love shows like, for example, like Game of Thrones, right? Because no main character is safe.
Yeah, you know, thing is, I've never watched Game of Thrones.
So I'm not going to spoil it for you anymore. Then
no, I've seen all the clips. I know what happens. Okay, cool. So I'd have to watch it.
Okay, cool. But the thing is, so like
life hack.
So I've been fascinated with like 95, maybe even 99% of the shows or like stories. People that write the story, they're always in love with the main character to the point where like the main character will always basically survive and prevail. But sometimes I like that thing of like in real life, some people don't make it. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. This is why I like watching I like watching biopics. Basically like movies based on real life.
Yeah, amazing.
Because in order for you to have a biopic, you must have something mad happen to you. And sometimes biopics don't have good endings. Sometimes they die at the end. That's like it's not a story. No, it is a story, but it's not like a fictional story. It is a retelling of a thing that's happened, and stuff like have you not seen what's his name? The guy that was he basically there was like this event in it, and this guy was a security guard, and he found a bomb. And obviously he saved a lot of people by telling them to move back away from the bomb. And he was a hero for like one day, and after that they thought, oh shit, it might have been him that actually planted it. And his whole life got flipped upside down. It wasn't, and the worst part is the guy is like the nicest guy in the world. Like you know those big chubby guys that's just bare polite. He's that kind of guy. And those kind of movies, that's like there is no happy ending. It's just this shit happened to you. Now everyone knows about it. Let's make it a movie. Obviously, then the director makes it because the director was what's that old director? Proper old guy. Like
Martin Scorsese.
No. I'm sure there's loads of old directors. You know that? What's that director? The proper old guy. Like
No. I'll find it in it. But regardless, those kind of movies, I think you would like those kind of movies because they're like based on real life stories, and the director has no say in what happens in the story other than the fact that they have to go and read about it and then replicate it. There's not like, oh, I'm in love with this main character, therefore I need to make him look as best. Sometimes they make characters a dickhead. And they have to make it so.
I mean, I can say a whole list of movies that are actually like that. You know, like Uncut Gems on Netflix.
Oh, that was a good one.
You know, that was a good one. He gets done dirty. Just say that. That was a good one. That was an amazing film.
He gets bodied.
He gets bodied.
Have you seen Unthinkable?
Unthinkable? No, I haven't watched that.
Is that the one of Sam Jackson?
Yeah.
The trilogy, The Glass, Unbreakable, and Unthinkable.
Oh, you mean Unbreakable?
Unbreakable, Unthinkable.
Split.
Nah, I'm pretty sure it's Unthinkable.
The one of them, James McAvoy, bald head, they have superpowers.
No. It's Unthinkable.
Yeah. That movie's sick though. Split.
I ain't seen it. I hear it's a trilogy in it. I ain't seen it.
Yeah,
Unthinkable was sick.
What's this?
There's lots of great stuff out there. But the idea of like you having your protagonist basically.
Yeah.
And he dies or she dies midway through the film, and you're like, wait, what are we doing now then?
That's why I like Rogue One.
And then you find a new protagonist.
Have you seen Rogue One?
Rogue One,
Star Wars. Yeah,
it was.
I like that one.
Yeah,
because obviously at the end, because the story is like is in between two different stories, isn't it?
Yeah,
and obviously at the end they all die, and we all know it's gonna happen. But it's that journey that's mad important, and it's just the way it connects is really really good.
So just going back on a book. Yeah. What would you call it?
The book.
Yeah.
The amalgamation of astonishing events.
Wow. Do you want to expand on that or just leave it like that?
It's the first thing came to my head.
Yeah.
Sick. Book coming soon.
Sick. It's like, it's coming soon. You heard it here first. Yeah. Nah, that's lit. But yeah, by the way, it is called Unthinkable. The movie. Cool. But yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. What would you say is the most important value for you in life?
One. That's the one thing.
You can do 3 if you want.
For me, it's moving over love, empathy, and having that belief that you're inevitably going to die one day. It creates that urgency for you to do good.
Yeah.
To do good and make your mark, leave your mark on the world that you want to leave.
Yeah.
So I think those are the core things, and faith and which is very important for me. Faith and being spiritually present.
Yeah. That's interesting. What's spiritually present?
For me, when I say spiritually present, it's about being the best version of yourself. We always talk about, let me get in the best shape physically, get that abs, get the 6 packs, get that triceps, whatever.
Get the triceps.
Yeah.
Get the quadriceps and that as well.
Yeah. But we forget about, and we look at what we're eating, what 5 a day, but what's our 5 a day for, like mentally, what we looking at, what we watching, what we reading, what's our mental diet, you know? And then there's a next step to that. What's our spiritual diet? You know, that's why you find like celebrities that are rich, like they've got everything you could ever ask for, but they're depressed. Why they're depressed? Because they're spiritually hungry. They have not fed themselves. Like they're spiritually hungry. And for me, the way I look at it is, you got to be spiritually there. If you're not spiritually there, then everything else collapses. That's the way I look at things, you know? And coming back to the 5 a day thing, as Muslims, we pay 5 times a day. I see that as my 5 a day. So when I pay 5 times a day, 5 times a day, I'm praying and I'm recentering myself. This is my purpose to worship God. Because every day I want to go back to God. Brought me to this world, I want to go back to God, you know? So it's about being spiritually present in that way. That's what I mean, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
I love that. You got a question?
No, I really like that spiritual diet. Because we think too much about what we put in our bodies, but we don't think about what we put in our brains, right?
And then spiritual diet would be like a combination of everything, basically.
It's anything. Prayer, it could be, you know, doing stuff that you feel was spiritually, anything could be spiritually pleasing for you. I mean, at least people might think it might be, you know, it's different. But, you know, the obvious stuff is, you know.
And I like that term of like mental diet as well.
Yeah, it's important, bro.
It's like, what have you consuming? But you know what? So I have this thing of like, I truly believe that eventually we become either fully or part of what we consume.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What's your spiritual diet 5 a day? What are the five pillars that you use to make your mental and your spiritual diet?
So first of all, I try to pray. I'm not perfect, but I try to pray 5 times a day. As Muslims, we pray 5 times a day. So I try to pray 5 times a day. You know, the first prayer being at sunrise, called Fajr, and the last prayer being Isha at night. And then you have prayers scattered throughout the day 5 times. So I try to do that. And like in Islam, we have the 5 pillars of Islam, which like holds up the religion that make up the religion. So there's prayer, there's fasting, which we're doing now in Ramadan. There's giving charity, zakah, and there's believing in Allah and the Prophet, you know. So there's these beliefs that you try to maintain and fulfill throughout your life, and try to fulfill those obligations, which will actually make you spiritually well. You know, some people be like, why do I have to do that? Why is it obligatory? Why? Because if it wasn't obligatory, you wouldn't do it. You know, because God knows if you do that, you're going to feel better. You're going to feel spiritually uplifted. You know, you're going to feel present, you know, and it's going to distract you away from, you know, so like all these prohibitions, like for example, not drinking alcohol or not eating certain foods. There is initial benefits here, but also there's benefits that you don't even know about. That you're just avoiding.
I saw this thing on Instagram, I think it was today or yesterday, where this guy was talking about how each religion have their own messenger. You got Jesus for Christianity, you got Gandhi for Hinduism, sorry. Yeah. Prophet Muhammad for Islam. Yeah. The guy was talking about how he doesn't care about the messenger. Did you get the message?
Exactly.
I don't care who sent the message. Did you get the message or not?
Yeah, and they all came with, that's the thing.
And they all come with similar messages, right?
All the messages that came with the same message was like, believe in one God. That's it.
Yeah. Is it from that video? That's from that video, isn't it?
Did I send it to you?
Nah, I sent it to you.
Did you?
That one is like, did you get the message?
Yeah, I don't care about the
message. Did you get the message?
Yeah. Because do I see it?
It's like, yeah.
Because when I see it, like a lot of religions, they're trying to say the same thing. Yeah. Don't kill. Don't steal. Yeah. Don't be a bad person. Yeah. Treat others how you want to be treated. Yeah. It's like the foundation of most, if not all, religions is the same thing. Yeah. Everyone's trying to be a good person.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And there's just different ways to find different ways to stick to it. Yeah. I'm saying they find different practices, they find different like reading material and stuff like this to practice the same thing, which is just be a good person. Yeah. And it's simple. That's why I always say life is simple, just difficult. Like obviously the fact that killing is illegal helps kind of, but there's other stuff like don't steal, for example. Yeah. Where sometimes not stealing is quite difficult. And
exactly.
But it's not. It's
Where
not.
did my
It's not
£10 go? Hold on.
but no, so not stealing, for example. There's been times where I've wanted to steal something.
Yeah.
But it was like, and the fact that the thing itself isn't complex. It's just the fact that it's difficult for me to stop, not do this thing.
Yeah.
And it's simultaneous to actually like, because even in Atomic Habits, it talks about your habit, like to create a habit. The easiest habit to create is to not do anything. Like just to stop doing, instead of doing. I'm saying so it's like no. As in when I say that, I mean like the easiest habit to do is to stop doing a thing you're already doing, opposed to doing something new that you haven't done before. I say so. There's two types of habits. There's cool. I'm gonna start working out, or I'm gonna stop eating junk food. They're both gonna benefit the same way, but it's like, are you gonna stop doing like? How do I word this properly? Like stop doing something you're already doing. Doing nothing is basically the easiest thing in the world. Just doing nothing is easy, innit? So if I'm eating junk food regularly and I stop doing that, it'll be easier for me to do that than for me to actually start doing something new, which is going out and working out. Understand?
Okay. Yeah, I see.
So,
or there's other things that people like, they eat junk food but just work out relentlessly and advance out.
And they do both, which is obviously an ideal world.
Yeah. Well, it seems to work for me, but
but yeah, the point I'm trying to make is like it's not difficult. I mean, it's not complex. It's very, very simple.
Yeah.
It's just quite difficult.
Everything's about habits, you know. And it's just about, especially like with this month Ramadan, it's about getting rid of the bad habits. You know, it's not about just not eating. It's about getting rid of your bad habits and spiritually cleaning yourself. And also, I think it's the idea of like when you're there's this concept called the nafs. The nafs is like your desires, basically all your desires. So I'm hungry. I feel hungry, but what is that? It's my desire. I want to eat. Okay, cool. I've ate my burger now. Yeah, I eat my burger. I fulfilled my hunger. I'm not starving anymore. My belly's not completely full, but I'm not starving. I'm not going to die, isn't it? I've fulfilled my hunger. What's that extra bit? You know when you take that extra bite, what's that extra bit? What are you feeding there? You're feeding your desire. You're feeding your desire.
Shit, yeah, that's actually
that's what you are. Because you're full. You're full. If you didn't eat, you're calm. Yeah, you're calm. You're not going to die.
Yeah.
We've fulfilled our hunger. That extra bite you're taking, every extra bite after that, you're fulfilling your desire. That's what you're doing.
Interesting.
And then you fill yourself up to your belly and you're like full and you can't even breathe anymore. You know, you're bloated and that, you're gassed. Yeah, you're fulfilling your desire.
So allegedly as well, you just made me think about something, which is it's on the same page, but it's slightly different. But allegedly, back in the day, we used to have like one meal, which obviously, like, you know, like when we had like hunters and gatherers and whatever. So like, it used to be much more difficult to have access to food than it is now. Way more difficult. You know, people would have to hunt and get food. Now it's just everything's everywhere. So it's like, and there's this whole other thing around, you know, like for example, like, you know, just being in spaces, like for example, being in buildings, like we never used to be in buildings, so we always used to have like a lot of natural light and so on. So it's like this whole way of living now has completely changed to where we were before. I don't know if it's right or wrong. But it's just it's fascinating how everything shifted. It's just things. I think Aladdin said it before as well. Like things are just kind of becoming like easier, like Aladdin says, like people becoming more lazier, so they find ways of
hard times create.
To the point where like someone's gonna sit there, gonna sit there, put on their VR goggles for metaverse,
and they're gonna
basically, and they're just probably chilling, and then someone comes and feeds them. Well, I don't know, maybe they're gonna be connected.
It looks like the future, bro. It looks like the thing.
Listen, so this is what I said. So is Matrix really fictional? Because like it could become a reality. Like, have you not heading there? Yeah, but I'm not saying that's going to happen. But you know what? Also, like Black Mirror as well. So actually, that's the one show that I watched. Yeah. Sick. Have you seen it? Yeah. You haven't seen it? Cool. Don't talk to me again. Yeah.
Black Mirror's cool.
Yeah. Listen, Black Mirror is so sick, and there's a bunch of different episodes where.
Have you watched the Danny Kaluuya one?
But you know what it is? If you tell me names, of certain actors.
One where the guy. It's the guy and the girl in the gym that's work on the treadmill.
Yeah. That one. Yeah, when he gets the glass and try. That one's sick. I've seen all of them. And they're so fascinating. You know, I'm gonna get to another point in a sec as well. But they're so fascinating. There was that other one which is kind of happening. You know, the one where the people give stars to each other. Yeah, does happen on Uber. So basically, so
give me 5 stars, brother.
So literally, so everyone's in like So everyone can rate each other. So for instance, let's say I have an interaction with you, I can give you stars based on the interaction.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Yeah.
But that's crazy. It's nuts. And basically this one person, she wanted to keep her stars at 5 at all times. And so almost it gave her like a 1 and her whole planet collapsed.
Yeah,
like
Uber drivers, isn't it? Like Uber drivers, they're the same thing.
And they don't get jobs, innit? You know what I'm saying?
You know, but fiction is like it's doing a full rotation. Fiction is based on non-fiction, which is based on fiction, which is based on
exactly.
It's just one full rotation because
it is. Yeah.
So that's the most scariest thing about it. When you watch horror films that are literally based on like not far away and literally right on there, you know, that's scarier to me.
Yeah.
Watching stuff like that.
Yeah, the one thing I don't watch is horror movies.
I hate out horror. You know, when that's like blood and like what's the I don't
mind gore. Just like jump scares and shit piss me off in it. But
you know, like Get Out. I like Get Out. I like that.
I haven't seen that.
I enjoy it. I'm not a horror person, but I enjoyed Get Out.
Yeah,
which you could say is probably a psychological thriller more than a horror.
Probably. I seen the trailer, so I know what you're talking about.
I seen the trailer, so I know.
That one thing I was gonna say. Speaking of speaking of the bike. So you know, in Black Mirror, the episode where you know the cycling to get tokens or whatever.
Yeah.
So was it treadmill or was it a bike? It was a bike.
It's a bike thing.
Yeah, it's a bike. Yeah. So there was this guy. Yeah, he was an engineer. He was overweight. Yeah, and basically he loved watching like TV. Yeah. So what happened? He found a way to combine 2 habits. Yeah, to benefit him. So he created a bike. Yeah, he created a bike that was basically generate electricity. Yeah, and it was watching TV at the same time. So you lost weight while doing something you love.
That's smart.
I've seen that. Yeah. I've seen that IRL, like where a TV is connected to a bike and it gets generated by kinesthetic power.
Yeah, that's smart.
Also, another thing as well, since we're speaking about technology, which is we got into like a whole random conversation.
I've signed after you go. I've signed after you.
Nah, bro. Nah, I'm just playing. So there's either already exist, or they're going to build supermarkets. Yeah, where they're gonna create kinetic floor. So when people walk on it's gonna generate electricity.
What's the difference between a supermarket and a market?
Well, the supermarket super, innit?
You know what? How?
It's super, innit? It's like super duper, innit?
Like a normal classical market. You go there, they have the herbs there and whatever.
The supermarket is
and then you go to the butcher there. The supermarket has everything all at once. Yeah,
but no, I've seen. They're going to do it on pavements as well. I think they're doing.
I was about to make a joke saying mega market, but then I realized there is a mega mall. Like that's what Americans call it, mega mall, innit?
Yeah.
But no, the whole flooring thing. I think I've seen that. I don't know what it might be in Japan or something. Where the pavement, there's certain pavements, like areas where the pavement has kinetic energy at the bottom. Yeah. And when you step on it, it creates energy. I mean, they won't bring it to the Western world because then everyone saves money in taxes. But it'd be a nice world to live in it, because the fact that we can create energy from natural sources like the sun, like the wind, like give me something else, like kinetic energy. We can create energy. We create energy through natural sources, yet we're still using gas, oils, and petrol. So it's an interesting world that we live in. But go on. Sorry,
I was gonna say how because I just thought something. How do you define conflict? And how do you what's your relationship with conflict?
Internal conflicts or like conflicts?
Both. I think conflicts come from internal conflicts anyways.
Yeah. I feel like we're always in conflict with ourselves. Going back to the nafs idea, the desire idea, we're always in battle with ourselves, you know. So for example, expanding on that, it's so me eating an extra bite is me feeding my desires, right? So in Ramadan, if I can control that desire, then I can stop myself from doing something that's kind of evil. You know what I mean? Because we might have a desire to do something that's basically not right, you know? So what you can have in that, building that resilience, like we talked about, right? That resilience on, okay, I'm hungry, but it's fine. If I eat, it's not, there's nothing wrong with it. It's not haram. It's not like, it's okay. I can fill myself up, no problem. But training that resilience, like, no, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
That's the conflict that I feel that everyone has, you know, whether you recognize it or not. The demons, people say demons, right? I have demons and I can't control them. Blah blah. That's your desire that you're fighting with. your desires that wants this, wants that. So you're always in conflict with yourself, you know, fighting against trying to achieve something as to trying to do something that's not to your benefit. Yeah, so that's what I identify with.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Because I was just thinking, like, about, I don't know why, if you keep talking about this, the whole, like, Russian-Ukraine thing as well. And I was thinking, like, it's crazy how there's conflict, yeah? And because of the news outlets and stuff, I'm not taking any sensitivity away from the situation, but because of the news outlets, that's the one we know about. But there's been conflict all over the world for years. Yeah. You know, conflict, like, so
it's just normal at this point. And do you know what I find really interesting? Have you seen that clip on Halfcast? No, let me bring it up because it's a really, really good clip and I really want everyone to hear it out.
Yeah.
It will take a minute for me to you lot go, but when I find out,
yeah. And do you know what? Yeah, so I was, as a joke, I was saying I could probably achieve world peace within 1 week. I would literally get all the world leaders on a residential for a week.
Yeah.
And then make sure it's transformational to a point where, do you know what it is? It's just having war is just so outdated in the current century. And also there's this whole thing.
I said war is out of fashion.
Yeah, it is. Like, it really is. Like, it makes no sense. Like, if
cyber wars,
if they spent, the cyber wars, and they're saying that China, I don't know if this is true or not, but this is, you know, like, because there's a lot, I've got this information from the internet, you know, because so it might not be true, but they're saying, so yeah, you know Joe Rogan's podcast?
Yeah.
There was a guy from CIA. Yeah. He was on there. He's like retired from CIA, but he was basically saying that, and you know, Americans got their own narratives and whatever anyways, but he was basically saying that China's getting ready for space war, but not as in like literally battleships and Star Wars, but as in satellites.
Yeah.
So they're designing satellites that can go up in the air and shut down other people's satellites.
Yeah. Which
because whoever would control that, then, you know, would control
Wi-Fi. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's mad. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't prepared to speak about Russia and Ukraine, but
we don't have to talk about it, by the way. I just
I think for me, in terms of my whole idea about you're talking about how media portrays conflicts in other countries, right?
Yes, I'm okay. I guess what I'm saying is, like, I feel like media controls the narrative, but only for people that consume media, right? Because obviously, like, I don't consume it.
And what is media today? Like, I'm not someone who traditionally wakes up at 6 a.m. and watch BBC News.
Actually, you know what? Media is like, let me be specific, because media is anything. Media can be a YouTube clip or whatever. So news media, so like news, like, you know, bringing news, like it's like, it's interesting because whatever they decide to portray, that's what's going to be on there. So it's their decision. So we don't necessarily get to access all the information around the world in terms of what's really happening.
Yeah. But also, I feel like as a world, we're not dumb. Like, we're coming to a realization of the double standards, you know, which has been clear of how they portray that conflict as to conflicts in Yemen, where I'm from, and Syria. You know, the way they've portrayed it. So it's double standards. So as to the point where no one needs to speak. Like, it's there for you to see. It's clear double standards. The way they've described Ukrainians as civil people and everyone else as not civil. That's what they're suggesting. You know, it's the idea that every refugee should be welcome. You know, no matter the color of your skin, every refugee should be welcome, and they're fleeing war, so they should be helped.
Do you know what'd be really cool? Yeah, if someone created an app. And I'm going to say someone because I'm not going to do it. But if someone created an app, where it's decentralized, so no one really controls it. But basically people themselves that have the app can basically be the news reporters if they want to put something up.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like decentralized. So there's no censorship. So like people from different parts of the world can say, like, this is what's happening now. You know, like, whether it's positive or negative. And I think it's more about also spreading positive news as well, because that doesn't really get... But I think that'd be interesting, where people get to share their own views, basically. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you find that clip?
No, I can't find it. But it's essentially...
Listen, no. It sounded a little bit disappointed. It was like,
no, I actually really was sorry, bro. You know when Poet talks on Halfcast, like, he goes nuts in it. He was basically talking about the whole... how a lot of media is back on the Ukraine thing, innit? is how long media betrayed this was. Oh, this happened to European people.
Yeah.
This European people this is happening to.
Yeah.
So what the fuck does that mean? I'm saying, what's that mean? What's that one?
I think it's because that as humans, we're very primitive people. We're very primitive. So something that's happened, like other side of the Middle East, it's like, yeah, that's over there. Yeah. But then if a cat gets run over outside your house, you're like, oh, damn. You know, so as humans, we're naturally very primitive. But also, I think it's a political thing as well, which I don't want to get too much into because I don't know their agendas or what they're trying to do. But it's clearly a political thing where they want there to be conflict there and they want to have certain control and they want to control certain places.
I mean, the inflation just didn't come out of nowhere. It's interesting how everything so...
But you see how they change the narrative. They say that because of Ukraine, Russia, the gas price is going up. But before the war, they already announced that the gas prices were going up.
And you know what? I think America's got the biggest inflation. So like, and America doesn't really get the gas from Russia anyway. So it's like, how did they get the inflation?
Yeah.
But also, there's this like interesting thing of when it comes to Ukraine in general. So based on history. Yeah, because he said he likes stories. Yeah, but based on history, and obviously, again, I never always say like things are factual or things are true because I wasn't there. So, but based on history, Ukraine's always been in kind of like in the middle when it came to war between the East and the West. It's actually this way around. I'm saying the East and the West. And the thing is like, and this is going back like 500, 700 years, you know what I'm saying? Like this is when, you know, people were riding horses and stuff and they always been in the middle. Like that's the the history of that country.
Oh, a question. Yeah. I got a question to close off, yeah. So cool. So I asked this question a couple of times. Actually, no, I got two questions. One is a funny one is actual one real answer. First question. If someone was colorblind in one eye, what would they see?
In one eye?
Yeah.
Half the world, black and white, half the world.
What would that look like? How would you?
50-50.
Good face.
50-50. The world would be 50-50.
It's for me. Next question.
I'm still thinking about that.
Yeah, you want to answer, man. Cool.
Fuck.
You had a chance to go 500 years into the future, 500 years into the past and spend one day there. Anything you do we're not talking like if you go 500 years in the past and you invest in flipping whatever this and no, it doesn't affect nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, because I know what you're thinking. Cool. 500 years into the future, 500 years to the past, 24 hours. What are you picking?
I
think this says a lot about you. The way you answer the question, why?
I think I'd want to go 500 years in the past and meet my ancestors.
That's interesting.
Nice.
I'll go future. Where you going?
I would actually prefer to, basically, so after I pass away, I would prefer to come back to life for one day every 10 years to see what's happening in the world. Maybe every 20 years because 10 years is not that long of a gap. Yeah, I'd like to do that. What does that say about me answering that question?
Says you're a dickhead.
Yeah, basically. Do you know what? Yeah, I actually think I'm a dickhead. I actually think I'm a dickhead. But you know what?
Ooh, revelation.
But I'm a good type of dickhead. Like I would do.
I'm a healthy dickhead.
I would do dickhead stuff, but with a good purpose. You know what I'm saying? So obviously, sometimes people might. I don't know how people see me. You know, they might look at me. They're like, "Oh, this guy's a dickhead." But you know what? Everything I do is for a good purpose.
It's about the intention, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. My intentions are good.
Things, yeah. So, for example, someone will like spend out. They say, "Oh, you want that? Yeah, you want that? I'll buy it." But their intention is to show off, though.
You know what? You're right. You know what? Some people might do good things,
but the intention's not there.
But the intention deep down, they might be trying to manipulate or you know what? That's
there is no such thing.
Everything's about intention.
Have you seen Friends?
Yeah, no.
Have you seen Pagans?
Yeah, come on. There is no such thing as a selfless good deed. There is no such thing as a 100%.
I disagree.
No, but it's about the intention. So, example, I'm sure everyone's come across people that have money and they like to show off. Like, you want that? Yeah, I got that, but that's their intention.
But every single good
intention is to have a certain social status because of that.
This is like a concept that we have in my religion as well. Like every action is judged by the intention. So if you intended to do a bad thing but did a good thing, you're not going to get the reward for a good thing. You know, and vice versa. So everything's by intention.
Yeah,
Because like I can be talking to someone and I might be helping them, but my intention is that I'm gonna shoot this guy. Like I'm gonna.
Do you know what helps with that? Yeah, and I used to have an issue with this as well, but I transformed when it came to that. Yeah, so basically, it's when you don't care about what people think. Yeah, so I stopped caring about what people think. So back in the day, it's like I would have good intentions, but then I might do it in like in a certain way where people go like, oh, like Leo's this or Leo's that. But I know my intentions are good, so then I would be like, maybe I shouldn't have done it like this or whatever. But then you know what I realized? Actually, when I stopped caring about what they think, my intentions are good. I do it. Doesn't matter.
As long as I know it is.
As long as I know, I have peace and I can sleep well. You know what I'm saying? And that's what matters.
Yeah. When you care about too much, it ruins you.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah. So we're gonna start wrapping up in a sec. But what's one thing that people should know about you?
Know about me?
Yeah. What do you think people should know about you?
Or what do I want people to? Okay.
So like, let's say someone met you, right? So let's say you met someone. What should they know about you? What's the most important thing they should know about you?
That's good. You mean in terms of like what's a good thing for them to know about me before become friends?
So I do this thing of you get to decide what that means to you, what that question means to you.
Say again?
No, say you get what the question.
The question. Yeah.
So like, what's the one thing that people should know about you? You know, let's say you met someone today, or when you meet people, what should they know about you? What's important to know about you?
I don't think it's important to know anything.
Mm.
You're going to judge me by my actions either way. Whether, yeah.
Okay, let me rephrase it then. What would you want people to know about you then?
I think I would want them to see
It's a good question, huh?
I don't think I want to see anything either.
Do you know what? Yeah. Do you know what I wish people knew about me? Or what I want people to know about me is that I give a shit about them.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
I think so. That whatever I'm gonna do, I don't come with ill intentions. That I'm always trying to do what's right. It's something that's inherent in me, and yeah, I will. That if you're with me, I got your back. Yeah.
Love that. That's good. That's good to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. You know what it is? We didn't even get to touch on BJJ. There's a couple other things I want to talk about.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll, not even maybe we should do part 2 at some point as well.
Yeah. Sure.
But yeah. So the question we check out every single time.
Before that.
Huh? Oh yeah. Sorry. Before that, do you want to promote anything? Is there anything you want to promote? We didn't even get to talk about all the stuff you produced and.
Yeah, if you go online, you can watch my stuff. Obviously, I'm an actor and writer. So if you go on YouTube, you can watch my stuff. I've got a film that I wrote, which follows a Muslim character going through gambling addiction, which is a taboo subject in my culture. Wanted to shed a light on that.
That was I loved it.
Yeah, you watched it, is it?
Yeah,
it's called Do It For Her. It's on Million Youth Media on YouTube. And a comedy film that I did, kind of like Dumb and Dumber in the Hood. And I'm acting in it.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, it's called Yo. So YO exclamation mark. And if you type that on MYM, Million Youth Media, you'll find that as well. And yeah, just follow me on Instagram, Mohammedally story.
Cool.
Yeah.
And we will put a link in the description as well. So yeah, to check out, the question is, when you get a chance to say one thing to the whole world, what are you going to tell them?
Move with love. And remember, you're all brothers and sisters. We're all from Adam.
Love it. Cool. On that note, do you want to say anything? Any time today? And
subscriber.
Huh?
Subscriber.
Yeah, that's all right. I like it. 160. But yeah, all right, cool. On that note, much gratitude. Thanks for coming, bro.